So, I am excited to be here to talk to you about my career path. It all started in high school when basically we were called into the auditorium for a career day, and a woman from the University of Delaware started talking about agriculture. I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware. It's more of an urban type environment, wasn't exposed to farms or anything like that. So when she was starting to talk about agriculture, I kind of listened. She started to say that, you know, and this is back in 1995, I'm a lot older than a lot of you now, but back in 1995, she was talking about styrofoam packaging peanuts. Do you all know what they are? You know, you get them in your packages every day. Well, styrofoam sits in the landfill for, 8 million years, probably the same way it looks today as it did, 50 years ago. Well, the University of Delaware created a packaging peanut that was made out of cornstarch, and that as soon as it hits the soil or any water, it will melt, but it still serves the same purpose of, packaging your goods. And I thought, wow, that's amazing, I wanted to do something crazy in life that would change the environment, and that kind of led me to look into careers in agriculture. I know, styrofoam packaging peanuts got me to be the head groundskeeper of a Major League Baseball field, but it exposed me to the idea that, oh, that's pretty cool, I'm going to look into it, I'm going to see if there's anything I can do in that career, and then study it. So, I got to skip along, like my mind was blown by all of that. So I decided to read up on agriculture, and I pursued a job in general agriculture at a small school called Delaware Technical and Community College in South Delaware. And now South Delaware, or Lower Slower Delaware is what we like to call it, has all the farms. And so I went into agriculture, and my first class was poultry production. So I learned how to dissect a chicken. I learned that a chicken goes from the chicken plant and comes out in the Tyson chicken packages. So I got to be exposed to all that. But the #1 class that I had that I fell in love with was turfgrass science. And turfgrass science was pretty interesting. How much, you as athletes, we beat up those fields every single day, and they bounce back pretty, resiliently. And, sorry guys, I'm just trying to scroll on my phone here. So that career, we took one of the classes in that turfgrass science curriculum was irrigation. And my irrigation class took a field trip to Camden Yards. And at the end of that field trip, after the head groundskeeper gave his tour, I asked him if he had a business card. So I kept that business card for about 2 years. I continued studying. I got into the job market about golf course management, went to work for a couple golf courses. I studied weed research for the University of Delaware and worked on herbicides. So I did everything in my career, or my college major, except for the turf grass. Well, working one day on the golf course, I came home and my dad was watching the Atlanta Braves play the Philadelphia Phillies in Atlanta. The Philadelphia Phillies at that time only had synthetic turf or AstroTurf. So while looking at the Atlanta Braves field was the first time I really correlated the relation between golf course management, what I did every day on that golf course, to looking at those beautiful diamond lines on the field at I don't know the name, the Atlanta Stadium, I don't know the name of it now. What is it? The old one or the new one, but Turner Field, that's it. Great, thank you all. I figure I'm in your hometown, you would know. So, I was looking at it and I was like, oh, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. I wonder if, working on the golf course and everything I put out on the golf course can relate to baseball. My love, my passion. So I called the head groundskeeper from that business card. I told him, I was here a couple years ago on a field trip, was wondering if you had any internships available, and he says to me, can you be here in 2 weeks? So I quit my job at the golf course, and I begged my brother to help me find some housing, and I found a house or a room in a house of Mr. and Mrs. Dunn, who opened up their doors for me, and I started my internship at Camden Yards. I got to see a lot of great history in sports that internship. I saw Cal Ripken play his final game, and he was one of the most incredible athletes out there. And then, the job is exciting. You know, I learned a lot of things that I never learned in school. I learned that a lot of the baseball game is played on the dirt, not on the grass, and they don't teach you dirt and dirt maintenance in college. So it was a lot of hands-on opportunities that I was able to experience. I learned about meteorology, I learned about insects, and I learned about herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, everything that you couldn't even touch in a textbook at the community college level. And so one day I was walking with my boss, and he says, I said to him, you know, I really think I want to go on and get my bachelor's degree in agriculture. I said, I want to be a head groundskeeper like you someday, maybe in the major league level or maybe in sports somewhere. And he said to me, he's like, you know, in order to prove yourself at the major league level, you need to take a step back and start at the minor leagues. Well, the minor leagues, they don't have anything that the major leagues have. They don't have a good budget. They don't have a big staff. So I decided to take that advice, and I interviewed and accepted a job with the Trenton Thunder in Trenton, New Jersey. It was for the AA affiliate of the New York Yankees. So I thought to myself, well, if I could provide a great playing surface for the Baltimore Orioles, I know that the Yankees hold high standards. I'm going to be able to provide the best one for them. So moving on, I moved to Trenton, New Jersey, which was fun. The minor leagues was where I really learned it all. You know, I learned that I was capable of handling the management side of baseball, and I was capable of handling the field work, because it was just me and maybe 2 other people, whereas in Baltimore I had a staff, or was working with a staff of 30. I was able to help provide a great playing surface to, you know, a team whose expectations exceeded greatness, so I had that going for me. And there I was able to call some shots that led to some success, and some that led me to failure. It was there that my gender seemed to be such a big deal. And so it was there that my will was tested. And you know, I found strength, and it was there that I pulled out all those years of being coached as an athlete and found the strength and the confidence to be a head groundskeeper at the major league level. So the major leagues, getting back to it, 3 years after I started with the Trenton Thunder, I tell this story all the time because it's kind of silly, but in the minor leagues they make you paint the handrails, right? I didn't, you know, go to school and work my butt off to paint handrails, but here I was painting handrails in Trenton Thunder Waterfront Park, and I was contemplating my life. I was like, what do I want to do? You know, do I want to put in another year here in the minor leagues and deal with all the shenanigans that happen here, or do I really want to go get, you know, the job at the major league level? So just a sidebar to that, there's only 30 jobs. So these jobs don't open often. So pretty much somebody either has to retire or they get fired, and then that's when a position will open up. So I'm sitting there painting, and then I was like, well, I loved the golf course. I'm gonna maybe look into that. So that night I went home and I applied for a job in Maui, Hawaii. Like, you know, a long shot, right? Single, who wouldn't want to live in Maui, on Paradise Island, and, you know, working in golf, cutting grass, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. You know, it just sounds awesome. Well, I got a phone call. And the guy said, I'm from Princeton, New Jersey. I'm the superintendent for the Maui Golf Club that you applied for. And I'm flying back to Princeton, which is like literally 5 minutes down the road from Trenton, to my sister's wedding. Can you interview? And I was like, yep. So I interviewed for the job in Maui. He went back home, his stadium handrails, you know, that you walk down to your seats with, and he called, offered the position, and said, I'm going to offer you this. And then there I was, painting handrails, thinking about the opportunity in Maui, possibly coming back to the Trenton Thunder the next day, or, you know, the next year, and then I get a phone call. And it was the Baltimore Orioles. And they said, Nicole, we've been following your career path. You know, the position for head groundskeeper has just opened up, and we want you to interview for it. And so I was like, holy. You know, that's my dream, right? That's what I was striving for to get back to. So I went down and I interviewed, and there I had Maui, Trenton, and the Orioles all in the same, week. And it was a big decision, but obviously I made the decision to take a shot and be the head groundskeeper for the Baltimore Orioles. So I had a lot of options. Okay, so the major leagues, it was not easy. A lot of my job is dependent on weather, keeping the health and playability of the major league ball field to a standard that is impeccable for these major league athletes that come out on the field. And in that line of work, I am faced with challenges every day to the success of those athletes and to the success of my grounds crew. We lose sometimes, we fail a lot, but most of all, as a team, we build ourselves up and we have each other's back and we win more often than not. So today you had the opportunity to hear from and visit with these incredible women who use their passion for sports in their current careers. I encourage you to explore various types of jobs in sports, find a path that encompasses that team atmosphere, or one that has the ability for you to set personal goals, one that encourages you to be accountable, to be coachable, to be a leader, and to be part of a team. One that lets you shoot your shot. So go out there today after you leave here and really research what all these people that you've met today have brought to the table, and I wish you guys nothing but success.